Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at some pitching for today, the 27th of August. It is Wednesday. We have a 3-game day slate followed by a 10-game main slate this evening. We do not have any weather issues to worry about. Decent hitting weather in Sacramento yet again. Not bad in LA. Not bad in St. Louis, but still not an exciting spot for offense at least, so maybe pitching. Decent hitting weather in Seattle, but obviously the ballpark. And then New York, of course, is always a hitting environment. Reminder that this is a first look at the options on this slate, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play in FanDuel, I would cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now let's just jump right in here quick on this 3-gamer. Max Fried has had some struggles recently. Bounced back a little bit last time out. Didn't pick up the win. But seeing him bounce back is obviously a positive step. He actually has been at his best when pitching at home, where he's at this evening, and we know that Washington has struggled quite a bit. Definitely the number one option on a week 3-gamer. Drew Rasmussen, somebody that I'm definitely considering, especially because the Guardians lineup came out and Jose Ramirez is getting the day off. Big time ground ball guy, not a huge K guy overall, but decent. Can provide about a K per inning most times. Season high is just 7, but still. One of the guys that just shouldn't hurt us too much. Not really a home run allowed guy, but the last 2 starts he's allowed 3 of them. But those are the only 3 earned runs, so I think Rasmussen is an excellent play on this particular slate. Cade Cavalli is somebody that I would consider a little bit. The Yankees can strike out. He does have a lot of upside, but he also has a pretty low floor. I like to see him back in the majors after all of his rehab, etc. Somebody that I'll mix in, a little bit on this particular slate. Slate Ciccone has really kind of come down after a decent start with the Guardians. I don't mind him. I just don't really love him at home. He's struggled quite a bit. 11 home runs in 46 innings. The reason I don't mind him is Tampa Bay generally on the road has been weaker, much weaker than their home numbers. I'm not sure what their recent trends are off the top of my head. I'll try to bring that up on my other monitor here. But I just know that in comparison to some of their home performances, they have been much weaker. Yeah, over the last week, Tampa Bay's got a team ISO of 226, averaging nearly 6 runs per game, nearly 2 home runs per game as well, even 2 stolen bases per game, it appears. So, not a great spot for Ciccone. I probably wouldn't mind being heavier on Wentz and Gusto and having Ciccone and Cavalli be my lowest owned pitchers. If you wanted to fade one of these guys, I would not argue against it. Just on a 3-gamer, it's tougher to fade somebody than it would be on a 10-game slate. Joey Wentz coming off of a rough start, but had been really solid prior to that. Allowed just 1 run in 5 1/3 against this Miami squad. Not a big K guy, so I do understand if you don't want to get there. He's been really strong on the road, over a K per inning, but obviously has just 3 road starts. So a lot of his numbers are a bit skewed based on his reliever profile. But the matchup is solid enough, and I think he can do just enough to be the SB2 on this slate. On the other side, Ryan Gusto struggled last time out. His first start with Miami was against this Atlanta squad. Was pretty solid. A quality start with some strikeouts. Flashed some upside with Houston, but then a lot of downside. It's the kind of guy we do want to mix in, just because he has that bigger ceiling. But we definitely want to be stacking Atlanta Braves on this particular slate. Switching over to the main slate, Minnesota-Toronto. A game that saw some excitement late. I'm going to be considering Eric Lauer just because that Minnesota lineup is one that I don't really fear all that much, especially since he's left-handed. And, you know, a couple of guys that we'd fear, Larnach, Wallner, being left-handed. But again, Buxton, not sure what Brooks Lee's numbers are as a right-handed bat, but still. I think Eric Lauer is perfectly fine. He's not an exciting player by any means. And he could get squeezed out of my player pool. You know, it is a 10-game slate. Some decisions will have to be made. But as we go on a game-by-game basis, I do think he's going to be in my pool as of now. Philly and the Mets. I'm just never playing Taijuan Walker on a 10-game slate. He struggled in 2 appearances against the Mets out of the bullpen. Nolan McLean is somebody that I am going to use. There are some strikeouts against Philadelphia. The bottom half of that lineup is weaker. He just has to find his way through the Schwarber-Harper combination, really. It's looked really good at the major league level so far. 15 strikeouts and 12 1/3. I think he has plenty of upside for us. So why not go there, even in a more difficult matchup? Kansas City and the White Sox, Savali. Since he had that 32 fantasy point performance, he has just 10 over 3 starts. Kind of tough to trust him. Plus, Kansas City just doesn't strike out a whole lot. He went 6 innings in his 1 start against them, but 8 fantasy points, not overly exciting. He hasn't been very good at home. It's just a spot I don't think is worth it on a 10-gamer. On the other side, Ryan Bergert has actually been decent. Averaging about 19 fantasy points per game over his last 3 starts. 19 against the White Sox as well. He's one of those guys that might just end up in my pool or might pass on, like basically overpicking on the White Sox at this point. But he's certainly capable of putting up a performance that we need. But, you know, I guess I'd put him with Eric Lauer. They're very similar for me right now. In that I just don't expect a huge upside game, but like the matchups themselves are decent enough for them to be in consideration. Arizona, Milwaukee, Ryan Nelson. Somebody that's been hit harder on the road, gives up a lot more home runs on the road, but this ballpark isn't the best for home runs. His only appearance against Milwaukee came in relief where he was actually dominant over 3 innings. Probably not somebody I'm going to get to, but he's certainly somebody I want to look into a little bit more. On the other side, Quinn Priester. Recent trends, not the best. I do think he was pitching a bit over his head for a while, but the Brewers have not lost an appearance by Quinn Priester since May 24th. If you notice that, that's a lot of wins with Quinn Priester on the mound. I just don't think I can get there. Strikeouts have come down. Walks are creeping back up. I don't think Arizona's a super tough opponent right now, you know, with all the trades that they made, etc. But I just don't think I can get there. Excuse me. Pitt, St. Louis, Sonny Gray, somebody that I'm going to play. I always play him at home. He's given up a few more hits at home than we're used to seeing, but the matchup overall is decent. 3 starts against Pittsburgh, averaging over nearly 23 fantasy points per start. It's pretty strong numbers. K per inning, etc. No problem going on to the Sonny Gray train. Mladzinski, I'm not sure how much he's going to open, quote unquote. He has been a starter. I'm trying to understand how they're going to break it down because Bubba Chandler, big time prospect, like huge prospect, made his debut and threw 4 innings. If he's in line for a W potentially, I'm very interested because of his upside. That's something we're going to want to dig into as the day goes on. Because if Mlodzinski goes 2 innings and Chandler goes 5, I think Chandler has enough K upside, even though it is a team that doesn't strike out all that much. I think there's enough upside for Chandler that he can get there for us. It's tough, though. Like, if you tell me Mlodzinski goes 3 and then Chandler goes 3, then I don't think I can play him. Angels and Rangers. Let's somebody that's shown some decent stuff at times. It is a plus matchup for strikeouts. He struck out 6 and 3 1/3 the one time he faced him. So I'm intrigued a little bit there, but I just don't know if we're going to be able to get enough out of him. He hasn't thrown more than 42 pitches in over a month. I just don't think we get there. As much as I want to, because I like pitching on the Angels, I just don't think I can get there. And Kochanowicz is not somebody I'm interested in at all. Texas have actually spanked him. More walks than strikeouts as well. Just not a spot we need to worry about. Colorado, Houston. Now, Hunter Brown kind of let us down, kind of didn't. Defense was an issue. Framber Valdez, I'm just going to Framber. Hasn't looked good for 4 starts. A couple extra days of rest in here as well. I think they're going to help. So I am banking on a bounce back from Framber Valdez. I will take that chance. He's been dominant at home. Not somebody I want to pass on. Chase Dollander on the other side. The one time Houston faced him, they got to him early and often. He's been far better on the road, which obviously, not pitching in Coors. Has actually been very respectable. K numbers aren't as strong as I thought they would be at the major league level to start out, but I just don't think we can get there against Houston. It's probably worth consideration, but I just don't think I can get there. Dodgers, Cincinnati, Ohtani. Wish they would have his pitching splits here, but I think Ohtani's in play. Cincinnati can strike out. I believe Ohtani is now lengthened out enough to have some upside, so I'm going to play Ohtani. Lodolo making his return from his blister. Been about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, etc. Didn't make a rehab start through a 3-inning simulated game. I am going to pass on him as, kind of a wait and see to see how deep he can actually go in the game. I'm just not really expecting, more than 4 innings. I guess 5 is a possibility if he's throwing it well enough. Colin Ray, 1 start against San Francisco, not good. Ballpark, I do like taking pitching in. But I just don't know if he has enough upside for me. I think I'd probably pass on him. Carson Whisenhunt, talented young lefty. Decent ballpark. Great ballpark. Sneaky decent spot, but he lost too many walks, etc. I just don't think I can get there on Whisenhunt this evening on a 10-gamer. Last game of the night. Both guys are going to be very viable for me. Casey Mize. Reverse splits guy, so I think he has the ability to, I don't want to say shut down, but perform decently against like Kurtz and Soderstrom, etc. Obviously, Rooker and Langeliers are super dangerous, but I do like the upside he offers. 2 starts ago, he struck out 10, so that's very intriguing. Luis Morales is getting better every time out. Somebody that I'm very high on. I think he has a ton of upside in his arm, and Detroit strikes out a ton. A lot more than I thought they would, to be honest. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, I will drop a link to our merch store. You can check out the options we do have. You can check out my hoodie or coffee cup stickers, which are pretty awesome. Let me know what you think of the merch and the pictures on tonight's slate. And as always, best of luck, everybody.